All right, all right, all right. Where's my camera? Why do I not have my camera on anymore? All right. Service tracks. We have 1 hour to get 3 service tracks done. We are going to time these so we make sure to get them all the equal amount of time that they need. And I'm going to be doing that. First up, we have Cardo, my friend Noah Smolen over here. He's going to be presenting what services your team can set up and sell on top of Cardo. I'll be posting links. Noah, go ahead and show us what we need to know about your platform here, Cardo. And who are you? Introduce yourself. Might as well get that.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Alex. And a really great presentation from the three folks before me. So excited to be following up on that great panel. My name is Noah Smolen. I am a partnership manager here at Cardo. Been with the team a little under 6 months, but have been within the data partnerships ecosystem for a little over 2 years, and within partnership SaaS roles for about 5 years, based out of Manhattan, New York. So today I'm going to be taking us through the leading cloud native location intelligence platform and maps track, a little bit wordy, brought to you by Cardo. So we're going to spend 20 minutes together to learn how agencies can build a business on top of our solutions and become one of our referral or preferred partners. So really excited to be presenting this with you guys today. Really enjoy building net new relationships and learning more about how we can work with agencies and consultants to drive net new revenue and new value for our prospects and clients together. So quickly starting off a little bit around what is Cardo. Cardo is a platform that extends a client's data to unlock spatial analytics. So what does that mean? Cardo helps companies solve spatial problems using location data and analysis to understand where and why things happen, optimize processes, and predict future outcomes through spatial data science and maps. And so what this means is we're taking client data around location, whether that's things like latitude and longitude or addresses. We're able to place that into a map visualization and run additional geospatial data science analytics and out-of-the-box solutions to help you understand where in the world is your business happening and how can you use that information to drive better outcomes for your business and for your clients. So we're going to get into a quick little demo video here as well, and add a bit more context around the technology. But before we do, we want to focus a bit more on the use cases and industries that we're already working with today. So as I previously said, Cardo allows businesses to model and visualize their geospatial data to drive location analytics and map solutions out of the cloud. So one of our unique differences is that we are fully built on top of clients' data warehouse cloud environments. And that means we make it seamless for them to take their existing data sets and use that at scale when driving geolocation specific outputs above and beyond what's available through open source and standard capabilities in those platforms today. So that means we're going to work really well with any sort of client or industry or business that has a lot of location data and is thinking about how they can better leverage that location data for business insights. So first and foremost, some of the verticals that we sell into, logistics and transportation, obviously have a ton of location data, thinking about route optimization, fleet optimization, and last mile delivery. We also work quite well within the manufacturing and utility space, whether it's helping create more sustainable outcomes or understanding where in the world folks have their business actually happening. We work well within the retail and CPG space, thinking about getting goods delivered and where sites can be open for brick and mortar stores. We also do a lot within the telco space and the public sector, as well as the insurance and FinServe verticals as well, given an expanded type of use cases around network optimization, understanding infrastructure planning and transportation and human mobility, or things like catastrophe planning and reinsurance as it relates to real estate and property investments. So what does this mean as far as our primary use cases? First and foremost, we're always going to be managing location data out of the cloud. So if you already have a cloud data warehouse today, you may or may not have location data that sits there and is unused. We can help you use that data and find the full value from those insights that you may not be thinking about today. We can also create out-of-the-box solutions. So things like retail site selection, geo-marketing, or thinking about marketing with a location-first lens, or last-mile logistics, again, going back to these transportation and last-mile delivery use cases. Finally, we're always going to be thinking about creating really awesome map visualizations, whether those are internal tools, tools to be shown or distributed to your clients, or tools to be white labeled and resold to other business partners or clients yourself. Our pricing is a custom pricing model, typically ranging anywhere from $25K ARR up to $150,000 in ARR, but this might vary for larger enterprises depending on their needs. Our custom licenses include things like a custom number of seats, management of data and load times, as well as out-of-the-box solutioning and preferred builds for specific custom applications. This is where agencies can come in and help us as well to help create more synergized custom pricing and projects for end clients. Our top 3 integrations today are going to be with those major cloud providers. So first and foremost, we work within the GCP cloud environment, as well as the BigQuery data warehouse. We also work with the Snowflake data cloud very closely. And finally, the AWS cloud environment and Redshift warehouse as well. We also have relationships with the likes of Postgres, Databricks, and Microsoft Azure. What are the ways that you can use us? First and foremost, as an agency or consulting partner, you can become an expert in our tool and in geolocation at large via our training and public documentation. You can refer Carto to your clients, and there's related incentives that we'll get into further along in this presentation today around how that referral model works with Carto. And then we have finally creating location analytics for your org or building custom applications within your org for internal purposes or for white labeling out to external parties or clients. So now we're going to get into a quick demo video here for you all. And I'm going to
Carto is the leading platform for cloud-native spatial analytics, where you can unlock powerful location insights in the cloud. Seamlessly interact with spatial data hosted in your cloud data warehouse of choice and enrich your analysis with thousands of spatial data sets from our data observatory. You can create interactive maps and run spatial analysis all in a matter of clicks. Workflows let you easily automate and share data preparation and analysis pipelines using a visual, no-code design tool. With Builder, our interactive mapping interface, you can explore, visualize, and analyze data in real time directly in our cloud-native platform. Seamlessly create flexible and dynamic maps with multiple data layers. Build interactive widgets to filter data and extract granular insights with advanced visualization options. And with our SQL editor, you can tailor and customize your analysis on the go. Access a wide range of applications tailored to your specific geospatial use cases, from merchant segmentation for consumer brands, retail site selection for calculating catchment areas, performing white space analysis, and predicting new store revenues, to our out-of-home advertising solution for inventory visualization, campaign planning, audience analysis, and much more. Using Carto's cloud-native spatial analytics platform, you can seamlessly unlock location insights and go beyond asking where things happen to knowing why they happen there. Carto is the leading platform for cloud.
Awesome. So hopefully that gave you a bit better understanding of who we are as a platform and the types of solutions that we provide. Now we'll quickly go through what are some of the leading indicators that clients might ask you about as an opportunity to potentially bring in Carto or start discussing Carto and map solutions for that prospect in a joint value proposition together. So keywords to listen to when for when to present Cardo. GIS, meaning Geo Information Systems, which is the larger umbrella term in which Cardo falls under. Cardo is the cloud-first GIS platform. Geolocation and mapping. Your clients might mention more specific use cases like geo-marketing and out-of-home analytics. They might be thinking about more standard business value opportunities like demand planning or territory planning. They might be thinking about specific bespoke solutions within the geolocation universe, things like site selection, network deployment, or mobility and human movement data. What are some other services that Cardo is relevant to that you might be able to add us on top of or bring us in as a part of? So first and foremost, building map applications, whether these are custom applications or one-off builds, we're going to be able to support and help you build really awesome map tools, both internally and externally. We might be able to help drive you unique marketing activations and activities with a location-first lens, or be a part of larger cloud migrations or data architecture activities as well. And then finally, what are the other products that Cardo is going to add on top of and be most relevant to? As previously mentioned, we've got really close relationships with the cloud data warehouses, given our deep integrations with GCP, Snowflake, and AWS, as well as others. And we will come in parallel path as an above and beyond data visualization tool to the likes of Tableau, Power BI, and Looker, which can handle small amounts of location analysis, but cannot manage location analysis at scale or drive larger broad-based map applications. And so we will be a parallel tool to those tools to drive map and geo insights. So what does that mean as far as the services that you can sell on top of Cardo? First and foremost, we can help you sell migration and geolocation analytic activities at large. So what this means is with a training from the Cardo team and working with us to sign a co-sell agreement, you can work in a referral model to co-promote ongoing consulting, migration, and analytics projects where you're going to provide expert insight into how your clients can leverage geolocation data analytics out of the warehouse to drive more powerful business outcomes. And usually this might be a part of a larger data migration activity that is already happening, whether it's going from on-prem data to cloud data or thinking about better business visualization out of the warehouse at large. Additionally, we can help you build custom applications for either yourself or your clients. Again, the requirements are technical training with the Cardo team, typically going a bit deeper, given there'll be a custom build at the end. And then you'll need to help either your client or yourself purchase a Cardo license, as well as our partner professional services to build and resell our tools together. So this means you'll be able to create custom spatial applications for your end clients using our developer resources, and then distribute those out to end clients in a fully reseller model or as an additional value add of your partnership with that client. So again, we typically break these out into our own partner types. These partner types are referral, preferred, and OEM. Our referral model is exactly what it sounds like. So getting rewarded for introductions of new brands to the Cardo team, which includes a 10% referral bonus back to your team for the support. We also have a much deeper partnership called the preferred partnership model, where you can grow your business by reselling Cardo. You'll get anywhere from a 20 to 50% scaling commission, depending on accumulated revenue, and we'll help you maintain and distribute that platform in an ongoing partnership model. And finally, OEM, taking this a step further, where you would purchase your own license and embed the Cardo platform within a white label experience to distribute directly to your end clients. So getting a bit more into the different qualities and services that Cardo provides to our various partner types. As you can see, preferred partners receive the most support, but all of our partners will be listed in our partner directory, as well as receive access to our internal partner resources and receive a baseline level of training, whereas preferred partners will receive above and beyond partner resources, including things like co-marketing and opportunities to work with dedicated account managers. What is the benefits to our preferred partners? Getting a little bit deeper here. So first and foremost, you'll get a Cardo Enterprise license. What will come with that is the ability to market, demo, and promote the Cardo platform all on your own. We're going to provide you deep training to be able to do all of that and be fully enabled in that way. We'll also help you understand the latest and greatest within Cardo features and be able to distribute those and share that knowledge and subject matter expertise with your prospects and clients. And finally, provide bespoke technical and customer resources, as well as ongoing day-to-day support. From our Partner Resource Center, you'll get tons of great materials. We've got this super built out. We're super proud of this. It has things like sales materials and master decks, customer stories, Cardo demos, product brochures, sales enablement trainings, helpful links, including awesome map visualizations, brand assets, as well as deal registration forms. So this is a really thorough portal for our partners to access all of the materials they'll need to drive their partnership in a day-to-day fashion. We'll also include technical training as well as sales training in an ongoing fashion to keep your teams up to date with the latest and greatness in partnership with Cardo. We'll also provide the opportunity, as previously mentioned in the panel before, to create co-marketed resources. So we're always leaning in with our agency and technology partners to help create new co-marketing opportunities, whether these are co-sponsored webinars or blogs or events, or even understanding what we're doing with mutual clients today and helping other prospects see how we can drive that mutual benefit together. Finally, you'll be featured in the Cardo Partner Directory. This is going to be linked out here on the last slide, but can also be found on the Cardo website by navigating to our partner page. You'll see all of the amazing Cardo partners listed in that directory, as well as the different partner types and types of modules in order to get started working with us. So as far as next steps, you can fill out this form linked here, which is also on that partner directory page that I just referenced here, to apply to become a Cardo partner. And then you'll get connected with respective folks on our team based on region to begin navigating those partner conversations. You can also learn more about the Cardo platform or geolocation at large by signing up for a trial account of Cardo or exploring our public documentation. And finally, we really encourage you to reach out to myself and my colleague Tamara, who's based in Spain, which is where our other HQ is, to start to talk about how we can work together and really create awesome partner solutions. So that's going to be it for my presentation today. Really appreciate you, Alex, for including us in the partner tracks here. And we hope this exposed a bit more just about geolocation and how you and your agency can work with us to drive map insights and map applications for your clients.
I love it. Noah, do you want to drop some of those links in the chat in case anybody wants to get started now? I think I put them higher up if you scroll up, but there's a link in there that I didn't chat to. But Noah, you can receive emails, and that's okay as well if anyone just has any quick questions and wants to do a quick email. I'm sure.
Yep.
I'm going to stop your time. You ended a minute early, but we started a minute late, so that works out for everybody. 11:50. We've got one more partner track, 20 more minutes, one final one, and then we go into the go-to-market discussion so you guys can put all this into action. Noah Smolen, Cardo, thank you so much, man. Scott, turning our attention to you. I'm going to hide Noah from the stage here, so it's just you and I. Same thing, same format. What the product is, what types of buyers you can sell the solutions to, how you set up and service the solution, what type of revenue, project-based or retainer-based, is involved, how the team's going to support you and help you go to market with this new service if you decide to trust them and get involved. This is Rivery. Product you may have heard about, but we're going to learn what we can do on top of Rivery as solutions partners and SIs. So, Scott, please introduce yourself, test out screen share, and let's get in. I'll start the clock.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hey, everyone. Nice to be speaking with all of you. I'm Scott from Rivery. I lead our partner program here. Been here about 6 months and previously worked at a systems integrator for about 11 years. Before that. And I think that Rivery is quite relevant to this conversation because like the CDP folks were talking about earlier, Rivery kind of is the same idea as the CDP, except it's not just for customer data. So, that ties right into that modern data stack conversation that you all were having. So I think that you can see my screen now and I'm in the slideshow. Alex, let me know if something doesn't seem right. But So here we are, 20 minutes to learn about Rivery and how we consolidate 4 parts of the modern data stack into Rivery as a modern data platform. And to give you an idea of what Rivery is and why it's valuable, I did want to share actually how we use our own product internally. And that's because everything I say here is not only relevant to us, but it's the same reasons that our clients buy our product. So it's also because understanding data products and understanding business are, I think, 2 very similar things. So we have 2 strategic priorities internally at Rivery from our CEO, right? One is to have every part of our business be driven by data. And the second is to lower our customer acquisition cost, hot acronym right now. And to share how Rivery aids in both, I just have to give you the background as to how our company is actually set up. So we have our product is, of course, built by our R&D team, and development project tracking data, like who requested what functionality and why are we building it, that's all in Jira, okay? Now, once the product is built or new functionalities are added, we can meticulously analyze how our customers are using them down to the mouse click level. So this helps us spot bugs and identify CX improvement areas. All of that product usage metadata is stored in MongoDB, which is a database in our AWS account. We're also providing clients various surveys through SurveyMonkey, and we're understanding how our customers use our product, but that doesn't just impact our product development choices, it also impacts our marketing and SDR strategies. So for example, from our data, we can see over 50% of our customers are landing data in Snowflake, and that encourages our VP of Marketing, Kobe, to create content with his team on the why behind that statistic. And then we advertise that why on mediums like Google Ads, Bing Ads, and Facebook Ads, and LinkedIn Ads, or we directly prospect using that using outreach. And hopefully our leads become opportunities, which of course are stored in our CRM, which is Salesforce. And that kind of brings us to the main event, which is the product roadmap. So product requests are just flying in to our product team from all directions, from sales, from SEs on open deals, from partners, right, from our CTO, for strategic things. And based on their urgency and expected value, they're prioritized in a SaaS system called Product Board. Now, once the deal is closed won, we use NetSuite, another SaaS system to book it. And in order to accomplish all of those things, we need the right people. We need to hire and develop our employees. And we use Greenhouse as an ATS, and we use Bob as an employee development system. So that's Rivery in a nutshell. It brings us to our challenge. Before all of those departments can be driven by data, that's the first priority, we need to first collect the data from those 13 systems. We need to cleanse it and curate it and share it. And we can't do that in the systems themselves because they weren't built for cross-departmental analyses or consolidated reporting. And this is no small challenge because based on the needs for complex analyses of our respective department leaders, marketing actually needs data from 9 systems, sales from 3, product from 3, finance from 2, and for our senior management and CEO, all 13. So that's a big challenge. But once we have it, we're able to better know who our customers are, what they're doing in our product, why, how to provide them the best possible support, and to lower our overheads by improving our operational efficiency. So here at Rivery, we use our own product plus Snowflake and Tableau to solve these challenges, and that's our modern data stack. So on the screen here is a generic diagram to help you visualize it. Rivery is connecting natively to all those systems. It's bringing data back into Snowflake, where we orchestrate the data warehousing process to clean and combine and curate the data, and finally serve the data to a suite of Tableau dashboards, plus some reverse ETL to put, for example, propensity to buy analyses back into Salesforce so our salespeople can see them. And so in this way, we're enabling our whole company to be data-driven, abiding by our first strategic initiative. And by doing all of those things with one tool, we decrease software costs and people hours of maintenance costs, decreasing our CAC, our customer acquisition cost, and abiding by our second strategic initiative. So these 4 things on the screen here is what I was talking about in the last slide: ingestion, transformation, data activation, and orchestration. The modern data stack sometimes has companies using 4 of tools for that, like a 5-chain and a DBT and a high touch and an Airflow for those things. So with Rivery, you can use Rivery for all of those things, consolidating it, or you can use Rivery for just some of those things and augment your data stack with other tools if you'd prefer. So so that is, in summary, what is Rivery? It's advanced data integration simplified, I think. So what verticals do we sell to? We actually sell to all verticals, as was pointed out earlier. Everyone needs these things. That being said, digitally native businesses are absolutely our sweet spot. Other SaaS companies like Rivery actually are quite nice for us. I went through a few of the business use cases already, but marketing analytics is just a prime one because there's so many sources that customers need to connect to bring their client data, their advertising data back, to marry it with their CRM data, right, for ROI analyses. But it could go on. Engineering, HR analytics, and any part of the business that needs analytics, they need to get their data first and they need to model it. One of the areas as well that we make the most money is actually in database replication or migration as well. So I mentioned on the back end of our product, right, Rivery has product usage data that's just being generated all the time. And that data needs to be pulled into a cloud data warehouse over and over again live to be analyzed in real time. So that's another core use case and functionality for us. As for our price points, somewhere between 10 and 100K are where a very strong majority of our deals fall. But in order to get the feel of things, we do have a pay-as-you-go model as well, which is a monthly fee. Usually those are pretty low, in the hundreds of dollars. And like was just said previously, we also have our top integrations are with the cloud data warehouses like Snowflake and Databricks and Redshift. So we can go to a quick product demo. I think you can still see my screen here, hopefully, right, Alex?
Yeah, looks great.
Good. So this is Rivery, the way that a user would see it. And here on the screen here is kind of a home screen. We're not going to go through everything here, but I just wanted to point out that Rivery is a data pipeline tool where we create rivers. That's what we call data pipelines because we try to be cute. But here are the two types of rivers we'll talk about today, the source to target river and the logic river. So here's, I can pull up an example of a source to target river here. So this is from Google Analytics, pulling specifically from this Tech Reports report. But if you're creating a river, you can actually choose right here from over 200 data sources to connect to. You'll have your credentials inputted probably previously, or you can do it right here on this screen. You're going to choose from a predefined report in GA4 or some kind of custom report. And there are a number of other options to tailor your pull. You're going to land that data in a target. Now, we've selected Snowflake here, but of course, there are a number of different targets that you can choose from. If I go back to Snowflake World, you can see I've selected that. I can establish my connection. And once I have those two things, I can go over into my schema tab and I can map all of the fields from that API, the Google Analytics API, to some sort of table in Snowflake. And Rivery is pretty smart. So if I click one of these things, Rivery will actually have mapped for me the data coming back from the API into fields here for our data warehousing table. Once all that is done, I can schedule that in the settings area here. Moving quickly on, the other type of river we can talk about is a logic river. In logic rivers, you can do many kinds of things. One of them is transformations. This is a 3-step logic river. It starts by authenticating, and then it loads some objects, and then it says, hey, I want to push this data actually back to Salesforce in a reverse ETL or data activation use case. So here's a transformation that we can do here just to show it. You can write native SQL on top of Snowflake and wrap that in a Rivery logic step. Or you can even actually, in a more advanced use case, you could write Python here and use that to reverse ETL your data back to Salesforce. Moving on. When to think about Rivery. So are your clients asking you about a few of these keywords, right? About data initiatives, about data warehousing, about our main competitor on the ingestion side, Fivetran? Those are going to be good times to think of Rivery. How about some other services? So virtually any downstream service that you want to do with data is potentially relevant for Rivery because, of course, you need to get the data from somewhere and you need to model that data. So anything to do with dashboards and analytics, you need to get the data for those dashboards. Something to do with Customer 360, there is this idea of a modular CDP now, which is like rather than using one tool to make your life easy and do all of the CDP functions in a single place. Sometimes certain companies want to actually split up the functionality of those tools. So a tool like Rivery could augment your kind of modular CDP strategy, or even source system consulting. So if you're implementing Salesforce or HubSpot or something like that for a client, Rivery can be tagged into the equation to pull data back from those systems. I'm going to move on here. So selling services on top of Rivery. First, I want to mention that the ideal profile of an employee on your team to implement Rivery is a data analyst or a data engineer. So the implementation could be very wide, since the demand for data keeps rising and since they're keeping new requirements coming up from teams all the time. But as a general rule of thumb, I think that for the right person, it only takes about 1 day to learn about 95% of what you can do in Rivery. It's not a overly complex tool. It's intended to be user-friendly for this type of profile. Now, when you're implementing Rivery for a client, that could take anywhere from 1 day to a few months, depending on how significant the use cases are. But regardless of how long it takes, there are a few similar steps to setting it up. So firstly, you want to connect Rivery to the data sources and to the target. Next, you want to build the data pipelines, similar to how we just showed it, to do all the data curation and transformations in the cloud data warehouse. And third, you want to orchestrate all of those pipelines and potentially put them on a schedule or create dependencies for other workflows in your organization or your client's organization. Now, on top of that, we do have kits and solutions that our partners are making as well. So if your company has specific expertise with a set of sources and targets, what you can do is package that into a reusable kit to offer as a template to current and prospective clients. And you can do that while protecting your IP. So I have an example of that. So first of all, here's the kits page on the Rivery website, just rivery.io/kits. And you can see a number of the kits here already. So for example, so a tricky thing might be having an Excel file in SharePoint that you want to load into Snowflake. So there's a Rivery kit for that customers can just click a button and basically import into their environment. If you want to protect your IP, then your kit would look something more like this. With this request kit button, and then an alert would go to the partner, to you, and to us for us to follow up on that. But here's an example of a kit that really was turned more into a full-on solution that they called Bento Insights, which is by our partner Vision BI. And so what they've done is built a complete sales analytics platform for SaaS B2B companies into a set of essentially Rivery kits. And they have their own dashboards outside of Rivery, right, on top of that they package into this. And so since it's a full solution, they also are advertising this on their website here on bento.vision.bi here. And on this website, it talks all about Bento Insights, the SaaS B2B sales analytics kit, and does not mention Rivery anywhere, actually. And of course, the end users are getting the value out of dashboards. So that's what they're promoting. So this is a powered by Rivery solution.
That's cool. I love the idea of branding a template that you can roll out to all your clients. And then also it makes the aspect of, I'm not selling you a tool. I'm getting you built out in this way. Here's an example of it. Rivery just happens to be powering it. I love that.
Exactly. So everyone wants to know about pricing for sure, and I want to try to dive into this. So Rivery has a usage-based pricing model where for every single river that you run, we call that one RPU, one Rivery pricing unit. And if the river has a significant amount of data, it could be more than one RPU per river that's run. So on the table here, we have an example on the screen, which is that let's say we're pulling data from two sources, right? From HubSpot and Google Analytics, maybe 10 to 15 times per day. And additionally, we're pulling about 10,000 megabytes of data or 10 gigabytes of data from a MySQL database over and over again. What we're doing is we're estimating the number of monthly RPUs, and to give you a ballpark, That's about 12,000 RPUs for the use case that I just described. RPUs, again, is Rivery pricing units. And so in order to price that, we do have a pricing page, which is right here. And so as you can see, for a normal plan, we have the professional plan at $1.20 per RPU. So you can take your 12,000 RPUs, multiply that by 1.2, and you're somewhere around 14K annually. That's the projected annual cost. So that's how we're ideally attempting to sell. For a more back of the envelope, for a simpler analysis, we do have this quick pricing estimator, where you can put in how many gigabytes of data do you want to replicate per month from your database or your file sources. You can select which sources they are here, and you can hit this Get Estimate button, and Rivery website will actually give you a ballpark estimate of how much you're going to be paying for that use case, and it will even tell you an estimate of how much some of our competitors are charging. Okay, on to FAQs. I see we have 3 minutes left, right on time. Bit of a recap. So why do I need Rivery? Well, you can't be data-driven without data, and Rivery helps you get and curate that data. Now, if you're thinking, why do I need Rivery, though, versus, let's say, some of the other competitors in the industry, the differentiators for Rivery are mainly these two. First is that Rivery flexes for unusual requirements. So if you have a use case where you're connecting to an uncommon data source that nobody's going to have a connection for, Rivery has, for example, a custom API builder where just through the UI, without any technical skills being required, you can build out a connector to that system and use that, maintain that yourself. That's one example. Another example could be if you're connecting to a common data source, but you're trying to do something uncommon in that connection. Maybe you're trying to bring data back in a specific format. Maybe you're trying to bring data back in a very customized part of that API that wouldn't normally have a connector. Rivery is strong in those areas. And the second differentiator is the usage-based pricing that I mentioned. If you don't use part of Rivery, if you're not running rivers, or if you're not doing reverse ETL, you're not going to be paying for those parts of the product. And what if you don't use Rivery? What are the alternatives? Well, if you use other tools to do this, you're probably, someone mentioned earlier, yeah, companies don't want more tools. That's what we find as well. More tools mean more skill sets to keep in-house and ultimately more maintenance. On the other hand, you could do everything you're doing with Rivery in Python, for example, or in some open source code, saving yourself full license costs. Although unfortunately, that's going to be much more maintenance because it's going to be much more time spent building out and maintaining those pipelines, every time the API breaks. And as a bonus question here, hey, maybe it's a big customer or whatever, and they don't want to go through their procurement process. Well, you can buy Rivery through the AWS Marketplace or through the Google Marketplace, which we find we're increasingly a marketplace first company trying to sell on these cloud marketplaces because we find it speeds up the overall process. So in terms of becoming a partner here, I have the usual slight grid here, but it's going to be pretty quick. First, we want to train your team up. Next, we want you to train us and tell us what your ICP is and how your company goes to market. And that will help our salespeople know when to bring you in. After that, we can go over our mutual account list and pick 3 clients each to attempt an introduction to, at which point we'll be fully in the partnership stage. We have a partner program. We have a partner portal. We can do announcements. We can do co-marketing. We can work deals together. We can give you the financial incentives that I can show here on this page. The partner program incentives are largely standard, but I know that the key here is the financial. So on the bottom right, you can see that anytime anyone brings a deal to Rivery, even if you're not yet a partner, we can sign you up and get you a 10% finder's fee on that deal. Now, after you've done one deal, you will qualify as a silver partner, which will qualify you for a co-selling fee. And our co-selling fees for silver partners are 15% of all new ARR contracts or expansions. And if you do enough of this, if you can hit 200K of revenue, that 15% will increase to 20%. We will support you here. We will give you a sandbox for training purposes, available unlimited for your whole company. We do set up Slack channels to support you that are directly between your technical folks and our technical folks. And we do have battle cards to help and assist with the sales cycle. So I think that's about it. The intro is here for my email. You're welcome to contact me, just scott@rivery.io. Your tech folks can start a free trial at rivery.io/free trial, and I'm happy to drop some links into the chat. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alex.
Love it, love it, love it, Scott. Thank you so much, man. Very great presentation, and love the idea of packaging it up, the use cases and templates, rolling it out to the team. We recommend any tech company that's going into partnerships to enable their service providers with those templates. Just a great way for them to refer and a great way to set up their clients, all of the above. So awesome, man.
Totally.
All the best to you. Thanks for presenting. Next up, we've got Sakota. Sakota CEO is here. CEO, founder, co-founder. What do you like to be called, Itai?
Just founder is fine.
Founder. Sakota came across our radar recently. Scott, Brooklyn Data actually did something with you guys recently, a panel, a webinar. He's going to be on in about 20 minutes here for a go-to-market panel. You guys raised a round. A lot's happening with you guys. Very hot ticket right now. And partnerships. I think partnerships are something you guys are getting into more. But talk about that, and then let's do your presentation. And then we've got 18 minutes here, a little bit less, but we'll see if we need to hang on. Go ahead.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Yeah, thanks so much. So I'll share my window here and just confirming that you can see this.
Looks good. Yep. You followed the instructions perfectly. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So nice to meet you all. I'm Itai. I'm one of the founders of Sakota. For those just kind of finding out about Sakota today, I think if there's one big takeaway from this whole presentation, one thing to talk about at dinner about Sakota, it's that Sakota stands for Searchable Company Data. We think of ourselves as a sort of homepage for anyone trying to access, use, and really manage data. When we started Sakota, one of the things that we noticed is that not only similar to the Rivery presentations are data tools or data sources quite fragmented, the data tools in the modern data stack are quite fragmented as well. So Sakota serves as that single interface for the modern data stack, one single place that anyone can go to hopefully start leveraging data management for their clients. And when you think about data management and when you think about Sakota, I think there's a couple of buckets that we help our customers with, one of them being data lineage, one of them being data discovery. If you are in a call with a prospect thinking about either cataloging their source of truth around data, Sakota is a really useful tool to kind of create that central search interface for anyone trying to access data. Lineage being a very important use case, so understanding the dependencies across all tables, columns, dashboards, and other components of the data stack. So as you're setting up dbt or as you're setting up Fivetran or any ETL tool, kind of showing that end customer the end-to-end stack that you've created through Sakota is totally possible. In addition to this, you can help your customers set up stuff like monitoring, so maintaining health and quality of your data pipelines over time, as well as governance, so making sure that the right people are accessing the right resources, automating PII detection, and also accessing requests for access to different resources. So quite a bit that we can do on the data management side. We sort of think of ourselves as like an all-in-one place. And the reason for that is because, no one likes to have 7 or 8 different tools that really can be consolidated into one thing, especially not for, the place that we play with our customers. So in terms of price point, we do have kind of a free plan, which we encourage people to go into and connect their data. We have a growth plan, which is charged at $50 per editor per month, and then a business and enterprise plan, which are a little bit more expensive at between 25 to about 150K for a customer. This is primarily dependent on the number of editors, the number of integrations, and the number or the type of hosting that a client requires. Our top integrations include the data warehousing tools that were mentioned before, but we also work with other tools in the modern data stack, including Postgres, dbt, any ETL tool, so high touch, Fivetran, Census, Airflow, Airbyte, any BI tool. Some of the most popular ones are Looker, Sigma, and Tableau. But we also integrate with Power BI and are really stack agnostic. I think that that's quite important to us. So a customer could have a Databricks and Power BI stack, a Snowflake Power BI stack. It does not really matter. Secoda will integrate into those things, as well as CRM tools like Salesforce. And then we make that information available in tools like Slack and Microsoft Teams. And in terms of starting to use Secoda, we encourage everyone to just create a free account, connect your data. It's as easy as setting up a Snowflake instance or something in Fivetran. We do have training that I'll jump into and ways that you can refer clients, as well as different types of hosting that we offer for partners. And with that, I'll just quickly jump into a quick product demo, what you can actually achieve with Secoda, what the primary use case, and then how we work with partners. And so right here, you can see this is the homepage for Secoda. We think of ourselves as kind of the first stop for anyone trying to access data at an organization. If you go directly to our integrations at the bottom here, you can see that I've got a whole bunch of integrations connected, and you can also connect integrations for customers quite easily. If you wanted to create something that's not in Secoda, you can also set up a custom integration, which allows you to add more context to Secoda than our native integrations. Any one of our native integrations can be configured in the Integrations tab, where you can see all the connection details. Secoda scans the metadata from this resource and allows you to set up a sync for this resource. So anything coming in from Snowflake, including lineage, tables, tags, aggregated views, all are brought in. You can set this up on a schedule and select which schema are brought in. Once you use Secoda to add context to this resource, you can also sync it back to the source. And Secoda ingests not only the data warehouse resources, which I think is quite important, it also ingests tools like Looker and or Power BI. And so if you wanted to see the syncs from these different tools, you can see that we also bring in lineage and context from stuff like the lookml file that you guys are creating. Once you create a search in Secoda, you can see all of the context that's related to whichever kind of search results you'd like to show your customers. You'll notice that the UI in Secoda is quite intuitive, easy to use, and accessible for anyone outside of the data team. One of the common use cases that we see agencies use Secoda for is to manage different customers' instances. And so if you are curious what customer A's data stack looks like and then need to jump to customer B's data stack, you can actually add multiple workspaces in the left-hand sidebar and jump between those different workspaces. Once you've found your workspace and found the asset that you're looking to learn more about, you can see all of the context brought into Secoda, as well as any descriptions, any tags. Secoda has AI capabilities, which allows you to easily add context to this workspace, and also auto-documents your lineage directly in Secoda so that clients can see all the work and all the context of their data stack right in the same place that they're accessing it. You can add additional context to this workspace, for example, documents, dictionary terms, questions, and tags. And really the goal is to create this single source of truth that anyone can go to across the team. And so that's a quick overview of Secoda. One of the nice things about Secoda is that because we are driven by search, we also have a very powerful large language model powering a lot of the results in Secoda. This can allow you to enable large language models on top of metadata for your customers, which allows them to ask questions like, who in my organization knows the most about our customers table? It can also help them ask questions about certain dashboards that you've created. It can recommend SQL. It can also tell them about the lineage in their data stack and can be used as a really helpful resource as you're offboarding yourself or onboarding new people on the data team into their data stack. So Sakota can kind of be a data stack assistant for your customers. I'll quickly jump back into some keywords that you can listen to while talking to your customers about Sakota. So when we think about data management, there's a bunch of different ways that customers like to start with data management. Usually this starts after some of their core data stack is set up. So once they have Snowflake, once they have some sort of BI tool, or once they have a ETL tool in place, or when they're making a cloud migration. So some keywords to listen to include data catalog, data dictionary, data lineage, data requests, monitoring, observability, and documentation. Sakota checks all the boxes for these type of tools. We have a data dictionary, we have data monitoring, data requests, observability, and documentation, as well as that data catalog that I showed you. In addition to this, other things that you may want to think about is some services that correspond to some of the things that you can do in Sakota. The first being creating a single source of truth so that more people can access data at your customers' organizations. So you're doing a lot of work creating dashboards, creating ETL processes, aggregating data. One of the things that we hear quite a bit from data teams is, how do I provide ROI around data? Well, one common way is to create a single source of truth that anyone can go to make sure that different teams have the metrics and assets that they're looking for directly in one place. Sakota is built with a structure that actually allows you to have different metrics and different resources associated to different teams. So you could have a marketing team with their own set of terms, a sales team with their own set of terms, and a sales team that only sees Tableau and Salesforce, for example. So not only does this allow you to create data democratization, it also allows you to help more people kind of engage with some of the assets across their data stack better and provide better ROI for your clients. In addition to this, data stacks are confusing, data is increasing, data silos are increasing. One of the useful things that you can do with Sakota is actually help your customers consolidate their data stack, consolidate costs, find duplicate, dark, deprecated data, and help them remove that data without impacting stuff downstream. In addition, you can think about data migrations. So Sakota integrates with both on-prem data warehouses, old school databases, as well as stuff in the cloud, which can allow data teams to actually migrate seamlessly as they move over to a more modern infrastructure using tools like Snowflake or BigQuery, Redshift, or what have you. And in addition, we have the ability to govern different resources. We have the ability to auto PII tag different resources. We work with many banks and high security customers and help them identify their PII data across the stack, as well as make sure that that PII and governance is restricted to the right people so that only the right users are seeing that information. And then lastly, I showed the AI assistant being able to auto-document your data, being able to help people be more self-service with stuff like text-to-SQL. That is all possible with Sakota as well. And when you're thinking about kind of complementary products to Sakota, I think the primary thing to think about is this product creating or storing or managing a lot of data for my customer? And is this data really useful for the rest of the team? So something like dbt or Snowflake or Databricks will have a lot of metadata that other people and other departments are curious about seeing. Sakota can help you surface that so that it's not just trapped in one person's head as the team scales. So I chatted a little bit about some of these kind of keywords that you can think about when thinking about Sakota. In addition to this, there are kind of 5 core services that we've seen partners sell as part of the sell for Sakota, and I'll quickly go into each one of them. So the first one is a data stack audit. The data stack audit can actually allow you to find, clean, and catalog items in a customer's data stack. So stuff like unused assets, unused columns that don't have any lineage associated to them, lineage maps and DAGs that are running too frequently, duplicate data or dark data. In reality, like the largest cost of a lot of compute for your customers is going to come from these types of small improvements that you can make for your customers. And the time to actually set something like this up is quite minimal. All you need to do is set up your core warehouse and your core BI tool within Sakota. And Sakota will start on a weekly basis, even giving you recommendations of things that you may want to look at as unused assets, duplicate assets, dark data that can potentially be removed. This can help a customer navigate their data stack, scale up their data stack without incurring additional costs across their workspace, and can quickly be a high ROI activity that you can prove value to with your customer within 1 to 3 months. So the nice thing about this data stack audit is it's a nice way to hit the ground running with a customer. The one thing about a data stack audit that's important to note is that the data stack audit usually is a time box kind of activity. Within 1 to 3 months, you may have found all of the major savings for a customer. And it's good to move on to something else that may be able to help them. The second type of service that we see consultants and partners work with customers on is the migration to the modern data stack. So this is actually quite a long ongoing arrangement. And depending on the size of your customers, it may actually drag out even longer. We've seen, this take 16, 24 months. This is particularly easier, I guess, to do with Sakota because Sakota maps the lineage of those old databases using foreign and primary keys, any relationships to key dashboards, and then allows you to make sure that as you're migrating, you're not migrating with key outages, you're not creating more risk for the business, and also documenting the audit trail of that migration process for your customers so that they know what's going on as that migration is taking place. So a really useful tool as you're managing migrations. Also a useful tool, I think, for yourself that makes your life a little bit easier as you're managing migrations for customers. In addition to this, we've seen data literacy implementations be very successful using Sakota. So this can start off by just a data catalog implementation, rollout, but can also start becoming a larger scope project around standardizing core metrics for different teams, standardizing core data definitions, creating a central source of truth for the data team, mapping lineage so that everyone understands it, and then also creating a data request system. So having a way for people outside of the data team to interact with data, ask questions, but then make sure that other people aren't asking the same question twice. So this can make data much more accessible to people outside of the data team. And at the end of the day, is a really, really high value add to customers. The fourth type of service we've seen is a data governance audit. This can be a little bit of also a time boxed audit around identifying PII, creating role-based permissions across which assets can actually be governed. One of the nice things about Sakota is that we do have a very flexible API that allows you to actually map some of these RBACs to different policies that you have. And lastly, you can actually create an access request system. So if you're working with financial institutions, insurance agencies, or other types of sensitive data customers, one of the things that you can do is set up these processes so that the right people have the ability to search for certain assets. When they request access to those assets, a owner actually approves it, and it goes back to the source as well. So the setup can vary depending on the complexity of your customers. We think that there's kind of a process that can probably even drag longer than what you have here, but a very, very useful service, especially if you're working with more financially sensitive customers or highly kind of regulated industries. And then the last one, so there's a lot of excitement around generative AI. The path to implementing generative AI within data can seem complex, can seem convoluted, especially when thinking about the idea of actually sending customer data to a third-party LLM. Sakota has the ability to start leveraging generative AI just on top of metadata so that people can set up common questions, create a data request flow, and start automating certain questions that are coming into the data team, as well as automating certain processes like documentation, tagging, and lineage that would traditionally take a data team a lot of time to do. So this can be kind of an exciting win, one that you can also sell, I think, not just to the data team, but to other people, because it can kind of serve as a co-pilot to what they're doing in their day-to-day. The nice thing about Sakota as well is that it lives within the applications that a customer is using. So if you're in Tableau, if you're in Snowflake, if you're in Slack, you can always access the Sakota through a Slack extension, through a Chrome extension, which gives people the ability to access this generative AI right in their workflows. And so some of the things that we see on sales calls that are worth noting, if this is something that you want to start building kind of into certain processes or certain kind of offerings that you have for your partners or customers, there are a couple of key things that we see. The first is that we know that data teams have budget constraints right now. One of the major kind of benefits of Sakota is that it combines the data catalog, lineage, monitoring, and knowledge base into a single platform and makes it much, much cheaper than purchasing those individual tools. You can also start your customer with one of those modules and start working them across other modules as they feel ready for them. In addition to this, some customers are already using certain things before using Sakota. The nice thing about Sakota is that the search is much, much more intuitive than traditional data cataloging tools. It's got a better interface, more flexible integrations, and it's also able to do some of the stuff around lineage and monitoring that I think makes it more of a all-in-one tool. Some customers may use dbt for documentation, but the problem with dbt is that it's quite limited within just the dbt models, as well as who is actually able to access dbt. So it's important to note that Sakota connects to lineage across the entire stack, and it also makes this data that the data team is doing in dbt more accessible to people outside of the data team. If they use Confluence for documentation, we do integrate with Sakota. For a lot of people, search in Confluence is pretty tricky. Sakota can actually bring that into our product to make that more easy to use. And then for you as a partner to Sakota, one of the important things to say is that with a lot of customers, one of the things that they'll bring up is that we may have coverage on, let's say, 80 or 90% of their data stack, but they have one odd resource that we don't natively support. Sakota's custom integrations are an easy way to use the API to actually build integrations for your customers for their unique data stack. So that can actually allow you to make sure that Sakota is configured to your customers and to serve their use case, regardless of kind of where they are in their migration or how closely they fit with our native integrations. In terms of becoming a partner, the first thing, because that we kind of think about this in stages for people that are referring business to Sakota. We would start out with probably the co-marketing and training stage, which is a zero cost sort of way to start working with Sakota. We are more than happy to give you a sandbox, a license, and to have you start working with your customers and POC kind of use cases to help you set up certain environments and prove value for Sakota. We also have training materials, videos, and a lot of documentation on the site on how you can actually make the most out of Sakota, depending on the use case that you think would be most useful for your customers. Once we do that, we probably get into the co-selling stage. So this is actually us lead sharing with you, you lead sharing with us. We do have a shared kind of a revenue or affiliate model where, we would start off with 10% of revenue and then slowly increase depending on the amount of ARR that is brought to Sakota. And once we actually reach that official partnership stage, that go-to-market stage, we've done kind of a full launch within a customer together. We reach that official partnership status. We have certain kind of documentation that we would share with you. We would sign the agreement with you, bring you into some of our kind of PR and newsletters as well, and also share that partner portal with you with all the supporting materials for you so that you can continue to deliver value to your customers with Sakota. One of the other things that I'll note is that for some of our partners, what they find is that they need multiple workspaces in that demo environment. What we can do is set you up so that you can actually set up multiple workspaces managed by you, and you can invite different customers to that workspace or to those multiple workspaces depending on their stage. Once we get to the go-to-market stage as well, one of the last things is that you will have a partnerships manager working with you and a shared Slack channel as well, where you can ask us for technical support, and we'd be more than happy to support you through that. We do at Sakota see partnerships as a very bi-directional thing, meaning that people who are bringing us business, we're going to look for ways to work with you as well and bring you into potential deals that we have down the line. And on top of this, it's pretty easy to get in touch with us. So you can reach us at support@sakota.co. You can actually try the product for free if you go to our website and just sign up. If you're an agency and you want to get like a license for actually showing this to a customer, feel free to message us and we'll happily jump on a call and give you all the materials and support you. And then we launch new features quite a bit. We are supporting customers quite a bit with Sakota, and we kind of see our relationship to the modern data stack as one that hopefully is quite reciprocal. We rely and work with so many different data tools in the data stack and try to support them and want to do the same to our partners. So we do really believe in lead sharing services, upselling support from Sakota, and really finding kind of ways to work together, not just in kind of a way where you're promoting Sakota, but hopefully a long-term partnership that's beneficial to both of us.
I love it, Itai. We got to wrap up, man. I got to get to the next session for those who have a hard stop at 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, we went over about 8 minutes. I didn't want to cut you off at the good stuff, though. The partner track was awesome. I posted the links there for anyone who wants to jump on. And Itai, pleasure, man. You did a great job. 4 different service tracks in there, tons of revenue opportunity on top of Sakota. I'll send everybody these links and everything afterwards either way, but we'll wrap up tracks and we'll go right into the go-to-market discussion. Thanks again, Itai.
Thanks.